Greetings and salutations, my mud-blooded Americans. Today I'm wearing my studded leather sash. Gives me 8 strength and 8 agility, which, no. Let's do that over again. Why did I say agility? 8 strength and 8 stamina. Today we're gonna be complaining. Welcome back to iDubbbz Complains. On today's episode, I'm gonna be complaining about the Cartnarc. Now, if you're not familiar with Cartnarcs, it's basically this guy, Sebastian, who works for a radio show, who had the idea to shame people who aren't bringing their carts back to the cart corral.
Dinged car doors, spots taken up, grocery prices raised sky high because employees have to go out and spend their time hunting down carts. We are publicly shaming those dicks who don't take back their shopping carts. Cartnarcs, you curved your cart. You didn't take it back to the cart corral where it belonged. Are you okay? That's the second curbing, by the way.
No, I'm not okay, you fucker.
But I'm a nice guy. No, ma'am, you left your cart here like a Lazybones.
Yeah?
I'm
What are you bothering us for?
because you left your cart out.
So what?
So that's gonna block someone's spot.
I don't care.
It ended up being entertaining for a good amount of people, and I was definitely one of those people where I was like, I think this is interesting. I like the idea. It is pretty inoffensive to like approach someone and be like, hey, you mind taking your shopping cart back? But the problem is we've sort of graduated from that.
See, that attitude's getting you a hood magnet of shame, sir. Go with a hood magnet since that was a curving. Gotcha. Another one in progress over here. Hold on. I'll be back in a spot. Here, let me get you another one right there.
But now we're on season 17 of the Cartnarcs, and I'm like, just sort of over it. The what if question was already answered. It's basically like, what if we did this? Well, the answer is some people get upset. And you can say it's justified or not, doesn't really matter, but we got our answer. Just asking someone to take their shopping cart back doesn't really evoke a strong reaction in people.
That's not where the carts go. There's some Lazybones. Well, I know why, because you're being a Lazybones.
Most people will just fucking ignore it, drive off. They won't throw a hissy fit. The first topic I want to cover with the Cartnarcs is the insult of Lazybones.
You're very tired right now, and that's causing an error in your judgment, Lazybones. Be a better person and not be so Lazybones. What we do is we narc out people who are being big old Lazybones and not taking their carts back. You're being a Lazybone.
And I do have a handicap, actually.
Is your disability Lazybones-itis?
There's a lot of people who say like, yeah, this ain't so bad. The Cartnarc, he's hitting people with the white people insults. What's so wrong with that? It's like, dude, if someone called you Lazybones, would you not feel fucking awful? Especially if you're being lazy? That shit is like a level 9 white people insult. Those hurt. It's in that weird area of like, you're not being like barbaric. You're not calling someone an asshole and flipping them off. Fuck you, asshole. It's like when you see someone doing that, almost like violent and aggravated, you almost feel bad because it's like, ooh, you don't have control of what's going on here. I think one of the worst insults that I've ever received in my life was a white person insult, and it was just a really well-placed no shit Sherlock. Like, if someone hits you with a no shit Sherlock at the right moment in time, you can't recover from that. Another point that I'd like to address, I think often goes unnoticed by people, and that is 2 people can be assholes simultaneously. Or 2 parties, however you want to put it. You can dislike both people and think that they're both being unreasonable and shitty. The person not taking their car back, yeah, absolutely. Unreasonable, lazy, whatever you want to like attribute to them. But to pretend that Agent Sebastian isn't being an asshole and he isn't being an unreasonable piece of shit, like, come on.
So you're harassing people who leave their carts?
Polite ask. We're not a harass. It's a polite ask. We're sweet and loving about it. Like he's being Lazybones in a couple other ways. It's oral hygiene and such. This is the thing with these Lazybones sympathizers and crackheads. Like maybe you were like just off homeless dudes all day. That's why you're tired. Is that why you're tired? From giving to homeless man for charity, because it's a charity thing. We're sweet and loving about it, very polite.
I also want to say that ignoring someone's wishes for you to leave them alone after they very clearly said 15 times in multiple different ways, leave me alone, get away from my car, get away from me. If you continue to ignore that, you are fucking creepy.
Off right now. Irresponsible person? My stuff. You don't follow me right now. I need you're starting this shit. Back the fuck off. You're leaving. Leave me the fuck away from me. Do not get anywhere near me. Stop.
Like the door-to-door salesmen take like at max like 4 no's. They'll take 4 no's from someone before they leave. This guy will take, I don't know, like 15 to 20 no's, and he'll keep going. Yes, it's very easy to call these people unhinged. Another word you can use is disabled. Their brain isn't working like yours or mine. For some people, they feel like they have to answer the door. And what you gotta understand with the magnet isn't just a magnet. The magnet is like a fucking barnacle. They're barnacles that remind the driver that 1, they did a bad thing, and 2, it reminds them of the asshole they just interacted with.
We have these bumper magnets for you. I'm gonna put it right here on the side of your truck. There you go. Let's go with the big old sucker here. Woo! Boy, I love that. It's a nice slap right there. German shopping cart like a jerk magnet. Well, here it goes, going right here, okay? There you go, you got that one. Got it, yes. Let's go right there on the hood. Giving that to you up there. Yeah, I know you type, you're a big tough guy.
I actually think the Cartnarc can up his game in this category because the magnets, I mean, they're a great tool, and I think that he should really lean into the fact that it's not technically illegal because you can remove it. So I think he should just up the grade of magnet. I'm thinking neodymium or higher.
Skibbity beep beep. That's not where the carts go. That's not where the carts go. Looks like they're about to head off.
Oh, fuck.
And go. Shit. And gotcha.
Let me just also point out the fact that you got Randall from Recess and you got Hall Monitor SpongeBob. These characters are like funny when you don't have to deal with them. You know, I hate to break it to you guys, but the fish whose house was, invaded by the open window maniac, they're actors. So they consented to SpongeBob breaking into their home. All of this is like scripted. What's happening with the Cartnarc, that's not scripted. These are real people just trying to get through their day. You know, any antagonizing, like they didn't want that to happen. And they tried to make their boundaries clear. If you look on the recess.fandom wiki, it says, Leonard Weems is the father of Randall J. Weems. He has a similar personality to Randall as he enjoys being a snitch and believes friends get in the way. So even with Randall, when we look at what he's doing on the recess playground, we're like, oh man, Randall, you shouldn't be doing that. But I can at least be empathetic to know that 1, you're a child, 2, you're an actor. You're just, it's all acting. And 3, your father's a fucking rat. I would just like to have a lot more of this context for the Cartnarc, because if you're gonna, record someone at their fucking lowest and like antagonize people to the point where they blow up at you, we should at least know, some of your history. He's able to do the like irony poisoning thing where a lot of people who are watching it are like, oh, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. But he's like, no, actually, I'm very serious about this. Like on his radio program, they have like a segment where they're talking about how he loves calling the cops on people.
And of course I called the cops, and of course they didn't show at least the 10 minutes that I was there. Call the cops on these people, or else they'll keep doing it. Panhandling, which is against the law, blocking the sidewalk, which is against the law, drinking in public, which is definitely against the law, and I called the cops.
You gotta arrest him! I think he was suggesting calling the cops for someone who was panhandling. So it isn't surprising that he also cares about the shopping carts going in their place. I do genuinely think the Cartnarc is trying to be ethical and reasonable about how he does what he's doing, but it's kind of hard to be ethical and reasonable when you have tasked yourself with something that is not ethical or reasonable to be doing. So you have to like cherry pick what you're going to be serious about and not serious about. He was talking to some guy on this podcast about the guy he antagonized in the Trader Joe's parking lot.
That's another comment we get here and there is, you don't know what was going on in their life. They must have had a terrible day.
I think that guy had some serious stuff going on.
Yeah.
Regardless of your interaction with him, I think I don't know what it was. Either mental issues or
well, it seemed like he was a contractor
drama
or something. Like he seemed to be gainfully employed. But yeah, maybe not.
I mean, I guess I get it for optics. Like, obviously, you can't really do your Cartnarc thing if your audience is able to tell that the person you're antagonizing is like unemployed and struggling in life, if it's easy for the audience to tell how much someone's struggling, you're not really going to get any sympathy points. Everyone's going to have sympathy for the person you're antagonizing. I think the worst aspect of the Cartnarc videos is him identifying someone as essentially not being all together and being like a very vulnerable person, whether they're disabled, whether their car is kind of shitty or broken down, and basically being like, all right, this person doesn't seem like a threat because their life is kind of in shambles. So that means I can push their buttons harder.
Uh-oh, he's balling it up. Yeah. Want to go back to throwing school, sir? I got some late, he's
How
like...
long are you gonna play this fucking game, man?
Until you take your cart back?
Get the fuck away. Get the fuck away.
I'll put one on the back here. So,
Stop it.
sir?
Stop it right now.
You stop it. But see, what I'm doing is I'm being nice. Why are you so angry?
My motto is no violence whatsoever. People say, well, that was a small guy. You could have taken him, Cartnarcs. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
It's for me to beat guys up. But this guy was such a little guy, and I was like, okay, I'll let him swing at me once. But it was overheating because it was like 105 degrees.
That sort of like flippant behavior makes me want to it makes me want to be violent. It makes me want to be very violent.
This guy was such a little guy, and I was like, okay, I'll let him swing at me once.
My fucking wife!
I didn't mess with your wife, sir. She's chasing me. I'm being chased. Hey, can you call security? There's a guy chasing me. He's trying to be violent. Sir, I'm not going to fight you. Goodness gracious. Where'd he go?
Really finna knock this.
That's why I want to stay away. Well, I'm staying away for safety. Sir, please, who's threatening to beat me up, knock me out. To keep my distance, obviously, Cartnarketeers, because I don't want to get in a physical fight with them gentlemen.
The Cartnarc calls people who don't return their shopping carts Lazybones, and if they get mad and yell at him, he calls them Angry Bones. I'd like to propose a few more bones. Angry Bones is like the Cartnarc's dream zone. You know, if you can fall on this part of the spectrum, it's perfect. It's like the Goldilocks zone. Next up, you have Fist Bones, and this is where things start to get like a little bit more dodgy.
I'm being chased. Hey, can you call security? There's a guy chasing me. He's trying to be violent.
Now, Gunbones is actually a very interesting one because that's more violence. It's very life-altering violence, but it awards you some privileges. What I mean when I say this is a guy from Texas actually threatened Agent Sebastian with a gun. He said, I'm going to put about 6 in you.
I'm fixing to kill you, and I'm a killer. I'm fixing to put about 6 right in your forehead.
Unsurprisingly, Agent Sebastian left him alone after that. I think the energy was very clear that he was willing to shoot him over this. There was another instance where a guy pulled out a gun and cocked it. Obviously, Sebastian didn't continue to antagonize him. He left him alone, and he even blurred out the guy's work truck in the video he posted. And I think he said, like, I don't want this guy's business to be affected by this interaction or some shit like that. And I'm like, bro, you go around talking about like shaming people.
We are publicly shaming those dicks.
Here's a perfect time to shame someone. That was clearly an overreaction. Cocking a gun. Perfect time to shame someone, but you don't want their business affected. You don't think someone's life is affected or their mental health is affected when you post a video of them having a freak out in a parking lot for 15 minutes? You don't think their life is affected, but you can have some sympathy for the business owner. I think we can all do the mental work it takes to understand why these decisions are made by Sebastian. It's basically like, if this guy's business is heavily affected by my fucking video, then all of a sudden I'm engulfed in controversy and it's now a problem. But for the guy who has to fucking open his PT Cruiser by reaching out of the car and pulling it open like that, no one's gonna fucking care about this guy. I don't care about his mental health. I don't care about what he's struggling with. So I get free reign to put this guy online. It is really bad, and it's win more. Like, clearly this guy has a fucking business. He's able to drive around with a fucking firearm and essentially get a guy to not fuck with him. Like, that's extremely win more. These aren't the guys who we should be worried about and who deserve to be antagonized.
What are all these parking violations for, by the way? That's a lot of them.
Yeah, they're all illegal, too.
They aren't. They aren't. The people who are probably most deserving of being antagonized by the Cartnarc are the ones who basically guffaw and just drive off. It seems as though this peasant has just left his magnet on my car. The poor fool doesn't realize that I have no obligation to address his qualms with me. Let's put it this way, Sebastian and the Narcoteers. If it's really worth it for someone to not take the cart back to the cart corral, their life is not fucking roses. Their life is not pleasant. I know we love to make all of their actions malicious, but it's just not the fucking reality. They're not thinking about you. Not thinking about you isn't the biggest crime. We do it every fucking day. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of iDubbbz Complains. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to hear me complain about more shit, I do that on the podcast, She Ruined My Career. That is available on the Maximum Damage channel. And yeah, I also stream 18 hours a week over on Twitch. So if you want to come check that out occasionally. I'm not really ranting over there. It's more like playing World of Warcraft. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Toodles! It's like a barnacle on one of those sea turtles.
These barnacles seem to have gathered there from all corners of the world. This triggered the young man's late-stage OCD. And he could not stand the sight of the turtle being covered in these animals. He quickly grasped his ancestral dragon-slaying sword and got to work.